Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're back today with the 24-hour reading challenge. It's been a good while since I've done one of these. I'm going to read as much today as I physically can. I am still going to sleep tonight and then we'll just do the rest of the hours tomorrow. Yeah, I'm excited to try and get through some of the reading for the month. I'm a little bit behind on my yearly reading goal, so hopefully this will help me kind of snag it back to being on track. I'm planning on starting off with the Sinner's Duet by Sophie Lark. So we've got There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil. These are quite short, they're less than 300 pages each. So I figure if we can get through these today and maybe something else, or like start something else, that would be quite good. I'm also like over halfway through Emily Wells' Encyclopedia of Fairies. I did want to go for a walk today and I've got the audiobook up of that on my Spotify account. So if it stops raining, I might go for a walk and I might listen to that then. Or I might read these and then just have to read it if it's still going to rain. Because I am not going for a walk in the rain. Thank you. Anyway, I don't know what else I'm going to read. I'm kind of going to mood read it after these two and just see what I fancy. Obviously, I've got my TBR from my TBR jar video here, and then By Thread by Lucy Score is like a hopeful for this month, and then I've also just got the whole rest of this shelf anyway that I can pick from if I want to. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's start the timer, which I'm gonna do on like a little clip in here because I'm filming on my phone. Well, I will record the screen. Let's start the timer. 24 hours. Let's go. Okay, it's like an hour and a half into the challenge now, and I'm on page 102. This book is so nice and floppy. I love it. I did not read the back of this before I got into this book. So at first I was a bit like, what is happening? It was not as expecting. It's set in like the art world, and you've got one of the main characters, Cole, who's like the MMC. He's like this really famous artist who's really rich. And then you've got Mara, who is like a struggling artist, and she's the FMC. I knew this was a dark romance, so then I was like in the art world and I'm like, how is this going to be dark? And then it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. I definitely did not know this was a stalker romance. So yeah, to be honest, I'm really enjoying it. Like, this is definitely a lot darker than the Brutal Birthright series. A lot darker. But it is really fun. I'm interested to see how she will react to Cole's hobbies. So we're just gonna have to see. So far though, I'm really enjoying it. I'm 100 pages in. We're like an hour and a half into the challenge, so I'm doing pretty good. I'm expecting to probably finish this within like 4-ish hours, maybe. We will see. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to reading this now. Okay, we're at the 20-hour, 15-minute mark and I finished the book. So I've read this in under 4 hours. I don't know how. I also nearly fell asleep like half an hour ago, but I'm so glad I have both these books. I'm gonna go straight on to the next one after lunch. But in the meantime, I'm gonna listen to the Emily Wild audiobook while I sort my lunch and eat my lunch, because I do need to eat. It's probably about 1 o'clock-ish now. Yeah, I probably ended up starting this more like 9 o'clock than at 8 o'clock. So, and I had to pause earlier to sort washing and my mum rang, so I had to pause the timer. But yeah, less than 4 hours to read this, so I'm definitely getting 2 books read today. So yeah, I'm going to put Emily Wild on as an audiobook. Actually, no, let's discuss this. I have paused the timer, just so you know. I also am dying for a wee. Let's be quick about this. This was so good. I didn't realise it was a part 1 and part 2 of the same couple. But this ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. I just ate this up. This man is completely crazy, and I don't even know if I like him, to be honest. But I love Mara. She's kind of iconic. And the story is just crazy and so full of drama and so fast paced. And I've literally sat here, and aside from sorting my washing out and speaking to my mum, I've sat and read this book in one sitting, which it is a 24-hour reading challenge, so kind of all of it has to be in one sitting. But like, that's so unlike me. I didn't have any like desire to pick up my phone and like scroll on Instagram or TikTok or play a game. I had no desire to like do something else. I literally just wanted to sit here and read this full thing, and I did. So I really enjoyed it. It's very dark, probably the darkest book I've read so far, actually, but I really enjoyed it. I don't know, what does that say about me? I don't want to know. Anyway, I'll probably discuss this book a bit more once I've read the second book and I can fully formulate thoughts. I'm going to run to the loo because I really need it, and have lunch while I listen to more Emily Wilde. I think I had gotten to page 188. I'm on the 22nd of November, so bear in mind these grey pages aren't actually book. I've only got this much left. So this should be easily finished today, especially if I do listen to it on audio as well. So I'll do that while I sort lunch, and then I will get back to you when we start There Is No Devil, which is the second book in the Sinner's Duet. Exciting. Okay, it's actually like 5 o'clock, I'm not gonna lie. Let me get warm, because smells my heating's only just clicked on and I'm quite cold. I just had like an hour and a half nap. I did pause the timer, so I still have just over 18 hours left of this challenge. And it's 5 p.m. That means I've still got 6 hours left to do a day. Which brings us to like 11 o'clock, I suppose. I'm on page 64, chapter 5 of this. I did listen to some of the audiobook for Emily Wilde. I'll be honest, I hate the audiobook. I had it on 1.5 speed, and even with that speed, the voice actor sounded like she's putting on like a bad British accent, but also like she didn't know the cadence of a British accent, especially like a posh like 1900s accent. So it just sounded really weird. The sentences, how she said them, where she paused in the sentence, I was like, that sounds, you sound like a robot. You sound unnatural. So I didn't like the audiobook, but then I got stuck onto a chapter that was like 48 minutes long. So I had to finish that. So I was listening to the audiobook probably about an hour. But yeah, 60 pages or so into this. No thoughts yet, just vibes. I thought I would update you with where we're at though. And where we're at is we've still got a long way to go. So apparently reading all day makes me very tired. I literally could not wake up there as well. But I'm awake now. It's like 5 o'clock. Let's try and bash through the rest of this in one sitting or so. Okay, it's taken me about 4 hours to finish this book, just over 4 hours. I was reading this one a little bit slower. I also took a nap for an hour and a half in between. So, yeah. I think I'm rating the series as a whole, but I think I'm rating both books 4 stars. Maybe this one 4.25 because I preferred it a little bit more than the first book. This one, they just became an icon of a couple. Like the first book, you're really getting into things. I think, to be fair, it probably could have just been one book. But I like that they were 2 like bite-sized books. I don't know. Yes, my thoughts. The first book, I wasn't 100% on Cole, but I really loved Mara. She is iconic, let's be real. She has just had a very hard life. And you just feel really bad for her. She's always down on her luck. But she manages to survive something that I don't know how she survived, genuinely. Like, well, I suppose that's what draws Cole to her as well. Yeah, the writing was very good, very gripping, because I literally, especially the first book, I was reading probably 3 pages a minute. Like, nearly, in the first book. This one I started getting tired and I started reading it slower. But I was fully gripped. And this one's a little bit more action-packed, I think. Possibly. But, yeah. I just really enjoy the series. I literally ate these books up. I think even if I wasn't doing this challenge, there was a very good chance I would have, at the very least, finished a book in one sitting still, like I did this morning. But there was a good chance I would have read both books in one day, even if I wasn't doing this 24-hour challenge, because I literally could not put these books down, aside from the go to sleep. But they were just so good. So yeah, this book, I liked it slightly more because it was just that little bit more dramatic, and as a couple I felt that they were kind of making more sense. I do like Cole, he was definitely better in this book, but Mara is where it's at for me. I just think she's iconic. So yeah, these are my thoughts. I feel like it's good to go into these books fairly blind, to be honest. I didn't read the back and I was actually kind of shocked. They are very dark. The first one more so. Check the trigger warnings, because especially just even her background, not even what physically happens in present day in the books, but her background even can be very heavy. So I think maybe if you haven't got many trigger warnings, like I don't have many triggers, so I can go into this kind of thing blind. But if you do have triggers, especially to do with childhood, like abuse, and things like that, definitely check trigger warnings and check if it's all right for you, because the first book, that it does go into quite a lot of detail, and there is more detail in this as well. But yeah, I think now Emily Wilde's upstairs. I listened to one more chapter when I was like coming out of my nap. So I need to double check where I'm at, but I think I've got less than 100 pages, or roughly 100 pages to read of that book. That will probably take me the rest of the night, because I'm finding it hard with Emily Wilde to read. I don't know what I'm going to rate it yet. It's probably going to be a 3 stars at most. We're just now getting into like the romancy aspect of the book, and I just don't believe it. Like, aside from her saying Wendell, which by the way, the name Wendell, awful. Aside from her saying like he's objectively attractive, like throughout the book at different times, that's how you take it. You take it as her being like, well, yeah, he's an attractive human being. Like, anyone with eyes can see that he has good looks. But she never gives any sort of impression that she's actually attracted to him. And you kind of get impressions that he's attracted to her, or that he's got feelings for her. Fair enough. But it feels like her having any sort of warm feelings towards him have just happened out of nowhere. So I just find the romance really unbelievable. And I just kind of, I don't like Wendell. I think, while I said before, the audiobook, her voice when she's being Emily's voice is awful, and the accent's bad, and the cadence is all wrong, and is cadence the right word that I'm thinking of? I don't know. I will find out and possibly delete this later. And the tone of her voice is wrong. The way she's pausing in between words is wrong. It just does not sound like it doesn't sound like a human speaking, never mind a English person. And this is me listening to it on 1.5 speed, and even then the pauses in between words are wrong. You know how, like, there, I've paused there because it's the start of a new sentence. That makes sense. But she pauses where she's like, it's like, I went round the back of the shop. Like, it's like pauses where they're not meant to be. And it really annoyed me. And I can't stand listening to her. But when she's got the Irish accent on and she's speaking as Wendell, she makes Wendell sound like he's got more personality than he comes across, me just reading it. So I'm liking Wendell more now I've kind of heard him in audio format, because he sounds a bit more playful and like he's just got some personality rather than being some lazy rich man. But I'm still, the way it's written is not like how I'm used to. Obviously it's set in like the early 1900s, I think, so the way they're speaking is a lot more posh. It's very Downton Abbey. It's very posh, rich person speak, you know? And so obviously it's written that way. And to me, I just can't, I struggle reading that, because it's usually just convoluted. There's more words than there needs to be to say something you could say succinctly. And I struggle with that kind of writing a lot of the time, because my ADHD brain just decides I'm bored. So I'm struggling to be in the book. There's been quite a few times when I've been reading where I've just been thinking something else in my head. Like, I've been thinking about work even. Like, I don't want to be thinking about work when I'm reading a book, but I have, and I don't even work. I don't have a stressful job. I have no reason to think about work when I'm not there. And it's like, then I have to go back and reread what I've read, because I'm reading, but it's not going in my brain at all. So, but I do like the world. I like how whimsical it is, and it does feel like a cozy fantasy. And I do like that feeling of it. I think it's just I'm not fully getting on with the writing, and I'd rather the romance just wasn't in it, because I don't believe in it. I'd rather this was just like non-romantic fantasy. But anyway, I'm gonna try and finish it tonight, so let's give that a go. Okay, I forgot to update last night because I just went to bed. But I finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I did not like this as much as I thought I would. It's definitely very... I think honestly my thoughts haven't really changed from the clip I filmed before I started reading the last like 100 or so pages. I'm still not about the romance, but it's not really confirmed in this, so I guess that's fine. I still think I might want to read the next one. I don't know. I don't think I'd rush to read it, but I'd be open to reading it. I think I've rated it 3. Yeah, I've rated it 3 stars because it was fun and whimsical and cozy. I just found it like not very gripping to read, but I think that's just the writing style wasn't quite for me. And I didn't believe in the romance, basically. So yeah, I finished her. I'm not gonna lie, I also ended up on the phone with my mum for like 45 minutes. But the timer was still going, so... Anyway, so yesterday, yeah, I finished The Sinister Duet by Sophie Lark, and then with my extra time, I obviously finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I was already about halfway, just over halfway through reading. And I did listen to like an hour of it on audiobook, so I probably was about halfway, roughly. Okay, today, very excitingly, gonna be reading Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I'm so excited to read this. This one's obviously longer, it's over 400 pages, so it's going to take me a bit longer to read, but I'm probably going to enjoy every second of this. Although I've seen some people love this and some people hate this, so I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest, because the Chestnut Springs series, literally every book was a 5 stars. And I love the Chestnut Springs series. And I kind of want to reread the Chestnut Springs series already, and I read it not that long ago, really. This one, I believe it's Willa from Heartless's brother, and is it best friend's sister, I think? I don't know. All I know is it's Elsie Silver, and therefore it's probably gonna have a crack in it, and I'm gonna eat this shit up. And then I don't know what I'm gonna read after I finish this. I don't know if I'm gonna need a shorter one because of how thick this is. We will just see what I feel like. I'm gonna mood read for this, to be honest, so once I finish this we will just have to see what I read. Who knows? But I'll let you know how I'm getting on with it when I've started. It's like, I've got 6 hours left. I think it's like 6 hours and 10 minutes. So I've finished this in quite literally just under 6 hours, like I predicted. This was so good. I think I'm going to rate it 4.5 stars. It doesn't quite have the 5-star feeling. I don't know exactly what it was that was missing. But yeah, I loved Cora. She was cute. She was iconic. They were just adorable. I love romances where they knew each other when they were younger. I don't know why, I just do. Especially when he's like always had feelings for her. I'm just like, yes. I love man obsessed. Especially when it's man obsessed come from boy obsessed. Yes. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I just really enjoyed it. Yeah, 4.5 stars. The next book will be exciting. I want to see more of West and his kids, because obviously he has 2 kids one of which being described as just wild, and the other being described as, like, for some reason, selective mute. I don't know. I just want to know more about West's family and their dynamic, and I think it's going to be him with the singer, from what I can see. Not that we have started with anything singers yet. How long has this book been and this, like, studio still not up and running yet? Like, what? But anyway, I think this is going to be a good series. I really need to read the Gold Rush Ranch series. I've got book 1 and 2. I just need to get books 3 and 4 at some point. But anyway, I need to now decide what I'm actually going to read next. So let's go upstairs and have a look. Okay, I don't know what I want to read. I've just quickly paused my timer so I can upload my April wrap up. I don't know what I want to read now. I only have 6 hours, so I need something roughly 450 pages or less to read, which I do probably have plenty of those. But I don't know what I'm in the mood for now, is the problem. I should read, this book not included, one of my TBR reads. I should. I don't know if I'm going to. I think this one's speaking to me the most, but I don't know if it's going to be sad. I'm tempted to kind of read something like short and fun, and then like leave the video there even if I don't quite get the full 24 hours. I kind of, ever since I've seen what book 2 is called, I've been wanting to read this, which is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon, because the second one is called That Time I Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf or something like that, and it's the fact it's got yeeted in the title. And this one is 250-ish pages, and it just sounds a bit funny, and I fancy like fantasy. Hang on, it just ends. Bear in mind it says epilogue there, and then it just ends and there's nothing else. I feel like it's missing something. But it ends like before the end of the page. Anyway, I think I'm going to give this a go actually. It means I'll have read 3 under 300 page books, but we're trying to get numbers up for the month. You know, I'm behind on my yearly goal. And it means if I finish this early, then I can maybe work on my reading journal a bit. So let's give this one a go. We'll see what happens. Okay, I realised I finished this book without telling you anything about it in the middle. I think I just kept forgetting that I was filming this video. 3.5 hours later, just hit myself in the face with that. 3.5 hours later, she is finished. There is still technically 2.5 hours left to the challenge, but I'm not going to realistically be able to finish a book in that time, and I think I'm going to burn myself out because I really struggled to pick this book to read. So I'm going to end the challenge here as 21.5 hours because I might as well. Anyway, this was bizarre. I started out reading this and like there was a few things where I was like cringed out. Literally within the first few pages, like someone, like her friend literally said, "Sin, my sweet girl," like Sin short for cinnamon. Her name is Cinnamon. Her brother's names are Cumin and Chili. And her sister's name was Cherry, which doesn't fit the rest. But anyway, she says, "Sin, my sweet girl, that was her whole ass mood and not in a good way. You're done, hun." So that was a little bit cringe. Yeah, it was just, at first, it was too modern in some ways, like the things they were saying. And then that just didn't happen anymore, really. Or at least I didn't notice it. It was just completely crazy. But it was so fun in like a... It was just so fast-paced. They fit like what could have been in a couple books into 250 pages. So it was just really fast-paced, really bizarre, but it was quite fun, to be honest. It was just like mind-rot fantasy. So I'm probably rating it like 3.5 stars. Was the writing amazing? No. Was the plot amazing? No. But it was really fun. So that concludes this challenge. So I've read 4 books. In fact, let me get everything together and we will do a proper wrap up. Bear with. Okay, I hope you can't hear the dryer like that's on downstairs, but if you can hear it, I don't care. These are the books that I've managed to read in this video. It's like 4 and a bit. I'm not really sure how much of Emily Wilde I did get through. It's probably a little bit less than half, but we'll round it up and say it was 4.5. 3 of the books were less than 300 pages, which is obviously why I was able to read this much. If they were bigger, like the size of Wild Love, I probably would have read, well, Wild Love I read in 6 hours, so technically I could have still read 4 books the size of Wild Love. But also my brain was not handling that. I still have 2.5 hours left technically on the timer as well, but we're just gonna get rid of them. We're just gonna say this is the end of the challenge because I don't want to burn myself out. I think I've already said this, and it was a struggle to pick the last book, so I'm gonna give myself a break for the night, do something else, and maybe I'll want to pick up another book tomorrow. We will see. Anyway, let's do a quick wrap up of what I've read. On the bottom here, just because I technically started it first this month, I've put Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. It's not the first book I read in the challenge, but I did read it, well, listen to it / read it yesterday and finished it. I think I read a bit over 100 pages in total. I can't remember where I started, but it was definitely over 100 pages. Then I read The Sinner's Duet by Sophie Lark. I rated both. I rated the first one, There Are No Saints, 4 stars, and then the second, There Is No Devil, 4.25 stars. And then today I read Wild Love, which I rated 4.5 stars. And then obviously I've just read That Time I Got Drunken, Saved a Demon. This one was a bit of a wild card, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. First chapter aside, with a couple weird things that were said, we'll ignore them. It was just a good time. I imagine this is probably what Ice Planet Barbarians is like. Like, so bad it's good. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're purely there for the drama and how weird everything is, and the fact that it's not good, but it's entertaining. So, that wraps up the 24-hour reading challenge. I think this has been my most successful yet, but it has proven to me, over the last week I've had a lot more energy with my chronic fatigue. Yesterday and today, I think I fell asleep for about 10 minutes today, which is better than yesterday, which was like an hour and a half. But lying down all day reading will make me feel more fatigued than if I kind of get up and potter about the house in between. So it's kind of proven to me a theory about my fatigue at the minute, that sometimes too much rest is also making me feel bad. So, but absolutely worth it, because now I've read 5 books this month and it is the 5th of the month. And my goal every month is 10 books. So I'm already halfway through to my monthly goal. So fingers crossed I can get a lot of books read this month. And fingers crossed this challenge hasn't burnt me out. But anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Give the video a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!